Welcome back to the Adaptive Athlete Podcast, the place for conversations with adaptive athletes in the CrossFit space and beyond. I'm your host, Matt Hotho. On today's episode, I'm talking with Lauren Taylor, the gold medalist in the neuromoderate division at the 2025 CrossFit Adaptive Games. Lauren's path to that podium started with a broken collarbone in high school basketball. That injury kicked off years of nerve damage, 3 years of waiting on insurance to approve surgery, and a Valentine's Day procedure where she lost 2.5 liters of blood and coded on the table. She came back to win an NCAA national championship in field hockey her senior year, picked up Spartan racing, and then in 2021, a car accident left her with a TBI that changed everything again. We talk about the moment that she watched Amy Bream at the CrossFit Games and decided 2 days before the 2022 Open to sign up for the Adaptive Open. We get into the kitchen sink workouts that she's famous for, her 6th year with her coach, Aimee Lyons, and what it means to throw down with people who really care about you. So here's my conversation with Lauren Taylor. Welcome back to another episode of the Adaptive Athlete Podcast. I'm here today with Lauren Taylor. Lauren, how's it going?
It is going. It is cold, but it is going.
Yeah. Dude, I love your background right now. Nobody can see it because this is an audio only podcast, but it is amazing. I mean, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, many medals, which I love. I love the energy of just a wall of accomplishments. So I thought we could start there. I mean, it looks like, just again, from looking at that wall, that you've been an athlete for a very long time and an accomplished athlete for a very long time. So when did you get into sports? What kind of got you started?
Oh, when I was a little girl. My parents were both kind of athletes. My dad was a college basketball player. And so we started playing sports before we were 6. Yeah. We were always outside. I grew up playing basketball. And then as I got into middle school, I started playing field hockey. I did track. I hated softball because I didn't like getting dirty. But yeah.
There's no grass on the infield. What is that?
Yeah. No. Yeah, I know. Right. But like, I hated getting dirty. Yeah. So softball was not my thing, but I did play field hockey. I played basketball. I did track. So yeah, I always had like a love for sports at a young age. And it really, I think my sisters, same way. They all played sports through high school. Some went on to college, and, it's just, I think it was part of our family.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you enjoy team sports more than individual sports? Do you have a preference for one or the other?
I always played team sports. I'll say now that I am an individual athlete, I think I have a deeper appreciation for the camaraderie needed in a team sport and the bond that is needed in a team sport. I love the fact, though, that if I had a bad day, a teammate could pick up. In today's world, when you're by yourself, you have a bad day, and that's on you.
Right.
So I'll say, like, now that I'm on both sides, I love both equally for different reasons, but I still love a good old team sport. I just love the fact that so many humans need to come together and perform at the same exact high intense level to achieve something. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And when you see it happen, and we were just talking about watching the gold medal game today between the USA and Canada. It's just really cool to watch it happen.
Yeah, it really is. And just the bonds that happen. And it takes me back to my college days, and especially my senior year, where we had a very, very tight bonded team. And that team ended up winning a national championship.
Yeah. Is that's the banner, the big banner in the back, right?
The big banner in the back. Yeah. 2013, we were our first national championship team for our university.
Wow. You were playing high school basketball when something happened that kind of started you on a journey to kind of discovering what it might be like to be an adaptive athlete. What happened when you were in high school? Yeah.
So I was in basketball season, and we had a Friday night game, normal Friday night, going out there playing both JV and varsity at that time. And I was playing the JV game, and I dove for a free ball and to save it. And the girl on the other team, she dove after me instead of the ball, and her head actually broke my collarbone, and you could hear it. Everyone could hear it break. And I know it gives you chills. And at that point, it was a clean break, which was great. No surgery, put me in a sling, the whole nine. But that started the journey of something I would have never imagined, which was the start of a lot of issues in my shoulders, a lot of nerve damage, a lot of kind of progressive components that led to me actually being diagnosed with neurological thoracic outlet syndrome, which you hear a lot today, actually, in a lot of the pro sports of ice hockey, even basketball players, baseball. There was a Phillies player that just had it, and they all get surgery pretty quickly. But back then, that was not the case for me.
So this happens then when like the collarbone is injured in some sort of way, or?
It doesn't have to be necessarily the collarbone is injured.
Okay.
In this scenario, me having an injured collarbone, it really didn't play a role into it. But what happened was I had a lot of muscle imbalancement. And so because of my muscle imbalancement, I started to have winged scapulas and rounded shoulders. And then it just, as we tried to rebalance everything, with me also being a high repetitive athlete in field hockey, swinging across the frontal plane of my body, you know, it's just repetitive damage across many, many years of being an athlete, which is typically what happens for most thoracic outlet syndrome individuals. There are components where maybe it could be a clot based in the subclavian vein, but then the other side of it is typically your brachial plexus being damaged. And that was what was happening to me. It was constant kind of damage to my brachial plexus.
Gotcha. And so that causes like scar tissue to build up, which then leads to other problems.
Yeah.
But you were telling me that people nowadays get it dealt with quickly, but for you, it took 3 years, you were saying, to get treated for it, to get a surgery?
Yeah. So in college, we really started to focus in on the issue as it was getting more escalated. So this happened my sophomore year of high school. We kept going. We couldn't really tie it to an exact diagnosis at the time. And then as I was going to college, my orthopedic doctor at the time, he's like, this is going to sound crazy because it's so rare, but I actually think that you have thoracic outlet syndrome. We sent me for testing and the whole nine. And we did a couple rounds of testing, like nerve-based test. And sure enough, that was the diagnosis. But the issue is because it was so rare, you wanted to try to treat it with physical therapy. And so I did 3 years of conservative physical therapy for an insurance company, which, mind you, I now work in insurance, so it's completely ironic, but for an insurance company to approve the surgery. Wow. So I actually ended up having almost 4 years worth of time frame from break and diagnoses, PT, to having surgery. I ended up having surgery my junior year of college in our spring season. And at that point, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. It had just got, so what was happening to your arms or your shoulders, your muscles, while you were kind of doing the PT, waiting for the surgery, numbness, tingling, loss of function?
All the above. So numbness, tingling, burning sensations, I would lose complete feeling in my hand. It would also start from elbow down. And because of the lack of blood flow, nerve function, I would also get a lot of bicep tendonitis and then rotator issues as well, just because everything wasn't registering. And it was so progressive at that time. By the time we went into surgery, I had about 12 millimeters of impingement that was deeply compressed. We're talking about bigger than a golf ball size of scar tissue engulfing the nerve, the bone, and the vein. And so, through 3 years of PT, of course, a physical therapist is I'm here to just kind of decline the rapid speed of decline versus it being I'm not going to fix this. I can tell you that today. I'm not fixing this. And that was always a reality. And so as it got worse, and playing field hockey, you need two hands. So grip strength was an issue. I would just drop things. I would also I had tremors then as well from the nerve aspect and the loss of blood. or like blood flow, I should say.
Yeah.
And we just, I mean, every day it was just something. It just, you never know what was going to happen. There was points where you could just like literally pick up my arm and drop it, and I would have no feeling, or no function in it as well. So that was always crazy. But yeah, it took 3 years, and then we finally had surgery.
And this whole time you're playing a able-bodied sport on a college team.
Yep. Yeah. Playing field hockey. Thankfully I'm a forward. So there's times where, the way you hold the stick, the right hand is actually just kind of existing. The driver and the stick is the top, and that's your left hand. So my more damaged side was my right side. And so at the end of the day, like, it really doesn't do much on the stick. It's just there kind of being there to support it, but nothing drastic. The driver is your left hand. So I was able to get by.
Okay. And then you have the surgery, and I've read a little bit about the surgery in that it kind of went a little sideways. You bled out quite a bit. You had a very long recovery from it. Yeah. And then you find yourself back in school, just kind of continuing to have to keep going on. What was that like mentally?
The surgery was wild. So we went in, and it was Valentine's Day. So ironically, like, I hate Valentine's Day, but
before the surgery, you already hated Valentine's Day, or you hate Valentine's Day because of the surgery?
I mean, I hated it before it, but now even probably more so than ever. So I just think it's a stupid holiday, but that's me. And now I definitely don't like it. So had the surgery on Valentine's Day, and it was supposed to be an hour. It was supposed to be an hour max. The surgeon had to essentially remove all of that scar tissue before he could do anything. When you have thoracic outlet syndrome and you actually have the surgery, you get the first rib removed and then 2 of your scaling muscles. So there are 2 muscles in your neck that attach to the first rib. When he was removing everything, he didn't realize part of the scar tissue, as he got down to the layers where the nerve and the veins was actually attached to the subclavian vein, and he just pulled it right off, and he opened up my subclavian vein, and I bled out, losing about 2.5 liters of blood, which we had to hook me up to Cell Saver and collect all of that blood in case I needed to transfuse it back through. And yes, I did code on the table, and they essentially came back through it. If it was anyone else, I remember the starking comment my surgeon made to my family afterwards, but if it was anyone else, they would have died on that surgery table in that moment. 4 hours later, and we were fine, but they let me lay there to get my body to come back to homeostasis versus transfusing me, because I was in such good shape as a college athlete. That's what they decided to do. But it was rough. I mean, my iron levels, everything was in the pits. I could barely go to class. We would send people to take notes for me. My professors literally couldn't look at me. They'd be like, I can't stare at you. You're whiter than a piece of paper. Go back to your dorm or whatever and go sleep. At
that point, are you on scholarship?
I was a full scholarship athlete. Yeah.
Okay. So you wanted to keep the grades up. You wanted to continue going to school and doing that part of it too. And that's such a balance when you're, oh my gosh.
Correct. Yeah. And I'll say, like, because I was doing PT literally up until the day of surgery, the muscle balance around the surgical area was great. If it weren't for the blood loss, the only thing that would have held me back from being able to pick up a stick sooner was we just needed the incisions to heal. But at that point, I could barely make it like 3 hours without falling asleep. So there was no way I was doing any type of exertion, because if also someone hit me or I got hit by a ball, that could be deadly as well.
So you come out of this, you have that unexpected experience on the table, and then you graduate. Well, is it after that then that you guys become Division II champs?
Yeah, I actually got to play like one of my best seasons of my college career, because I could feel the stick for the most part.
Right.
Like,
once you got that blood back in your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did intensive PT, and we got as much as like the nerve function back that we could. It is not perfect. there was so much damage in there that it is not perfect at all, which is why I love today when you see it, professional athletes deal with this and they can get in very quickly. And yes, they're a professional athlete, they have other means, but even at that, if anyone else is diagnosed with this in a situation that I am, I hope that they can get the surgery much sooner, because then they can get whole nerve function back. I don't have it all back. That's just the reality of how long it took me to get the surgery approved and the time frame of when I went. So again, if I'm a trailblazer for that, okay, cool. But my senior year was one of my best seasons, and I was thrilled. And then yes, we did win a national championship.
Nice. What did that feel like? That sense of accomplishment, maybe after going through everything you went through, getting to raise that trophy, celebrate with your team. I know you were talking about how much you love team sports.
Yeah, it was emotional. It like still gives me chills today. I always enjoyed kind of growing up watching March Madness and that Final Four national championship game and the confetti falling and you getting handed the trophy and just the feeling. Man, I remember when I was handed the trophy, there's still a picture out there probably somewhere today of me just absolutely staring at this thing, bawling my eyes out, because it was a dream come true. You always want to be able to say like, yeah, I'm an NCAA national champion. And I think that's the pinnacle of a career, especially for a female college athlete from playing field hockey.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like foreign countries where we have the ability to go play abroad and continue into our adulthood. Like that's the end of my field hockey career right there. And so to win my very last game with my teammates, it meant so much, and have my parents there, my family there. And my dad is not an emotional person, and to see him crying as I'm, you know, fulfilling this dream, this lifelong dream at that point in time to win a national championship was just like the ultimate pinnacle.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's cool. So then you finish college and you start up Spartan racing, which seemed like a ton of fun.
Right? You can't take the athlete and competitive edge out of someone, you know, when you're that since 5. I was just eager.
Like I need something.
I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like first off, I didn't want to be that stereotypical college athlete that stops playing and gets really out of shape.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Did not want to do that. And I had a friend who was like, Lauren, will you run a Spartan race with me?
Yeah.
Spartan racing was great. Like it was so much fun. It was so different. It was also challenging in its own capacity because of my grip issues still. So I loved that. And I was naturally like kind of good at it. I always loved running. That whole 9 was always great for me. And I was like globally ranked at that point. So it was pretty awesome.
This episode is brought to you by Equip Products. Whether you're a seated athlete, a single arm lifter, working through a neurological impairment, or coaching someone who is, Equip has the tools to make the gym actually work for you and for your adaptive athlete. They're partnered with WheelWOD, trusted by PTs and coaches, and they're the go-to source for adaptive fitness gear. Go explore everything they carry at equipproducts.com. There's something there for almost every adaptive athlete. All right, so I'm going to rush us through a few things here, but after the Spartan racing, there is then a day in 2021 where we're in the peak of COVID and you're sitting ready to merge onto the highway and a truck just rear ends you. And the next thing you know, you got a TBI.
Yep.
And that seems to start a whole new chapter of your journey. You can't seem to get away from these injuries that just kind of find you. And then I want to say that differently. I didn't mean it like that. That came across a little
It's fair. It's honestly fair, you know, because I have acquired conditions. It's very fair, you know.
And then as you're recovering from that, some friends tell you, hey, you know, there's this place where people who are adaptive athletes do hard things. What was that experience like when your friend introduced you to the CrossFit Games?
Yeah. This group of friends, they've always kind of been CrossFit athletes. They did the open. They're those traditional people. And they were like, hey, we want to go to Madison. It's been COVID. We're locked up in our houses. You want to go watch the CrossFit Games? I was like, sure, why not? So we're sitting in the arena, and I've legitimately told this story to Amy Bream today, but her viral moment was a moment that changed my life has someone with a disability. At that point, I was really navigating the waters. I had just had this accident. I've, to your point, have had lifelong trauma of these major injuries that turn into lifelong components that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Always there. And I just had a major one take place. And I was still seeking care. I still didn't even have a neurologist at that point because a doctor could say no to me because it was COVID. And I was also in an auto accident. So it took me about 6 months to actually get a neurologist that was willing to see me. And so, I went to the CrossFit Games, was sitting there, we're watching that viral moment of Amy Bream on the competition floor. And I start tearing up, like just looking at her defying the odds, showing the world that even though she has a disability, like she can do this and she is doing it. I was like, wow, like I want to be a part of this. How can I be a part of this? Am I even able to be a part of this? So in that moment, I actually pulled up the rule book and I started reading the rule book. And I went to the adaptive and the classifications and I was like, I actually fit into this. Mm-hmm. I actually can be a part of this. If I want to be a part of this, I can be a part of this. And so that left me then after that games to say a whole year of like, all right, maybe I should try some CrossFit. Is this going to be my new thing? But also during that time frame, I was finding my own ways of figuring out what I could do in something that means so much to me, which is exercise. Like what can and can't I do anymore? And there was days where I was like, well, cool, can't do that anymore. Can't do this, so on and so forth. And
because
so there's a lot
TBI,
of highs and lows.
like you're realizing just kind of how it's impacting your balance, your vestibular system. Is that right? How it impacts you, your balance, vestibular system, and then a little bit of ataxia?
Yes. Yeah. And it's all of that. And like, there was just things that progressively were intensifying and getting worse, and some things were getting better. And it was always just like a mixed bag of like, okay, like, here we go. Let's figure this one out or figure this out.
And it's a bit hotter today. It's a bit colder today. I didn't sleep so well last night. What's my body going to do today?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I had a lot of depression too. I mean, you're just so used to being able to be active, do it. And I already had like this big overcoming moment with my neurological thoracic outlet syndrome, and coming back from that, having this surgery and doing this, and you were exhausted. I was like, I'm exhausted. Mm-hmm. Like it's always this comeback. And it took me legitimately, and no, you cannot do this today, everyone. But it literally took me 2 days before the Open in 2022 to decide that I was comfortable enough living with a invisible disability to say, I'm ready to maybe show the world what can happen, and signed up for the Open.
Yeah. And then long story short, you get into semis, which is top 10. From there, you finish in the top 5 in semis and go on to the games in 22, and you finish in second place.
Sure do.
So you've shown the world what somebody with an invisible disability can do.
Yeah.
And to fast forward in your CrossFit career, you continue to show people what someone with an invisible disability can do, because in 2024, you came in second. And then in 2025, you took the gold and you came in first in the neuromoderate division.
I did.
So there's a couple of things I want to touch on, and we were kind of joking about this, but you leading up to the 2025 games were putting out these posts called Kitchen Sink.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, I don't know how many you did, but I think it was like 18 or something like that. And two things stuck out at me about it. One, it's such a novel idea, right? If you want to train your weaknesses, just throw it all in the sink, man. And that is the Hopper method of CrossFit, and it is beautiful. But the second thing that struck me was the community, right?
Oh yeah.
The way that before and after, there were always people there with you. There were always people throwing that with you. So speak to me about both sides of that, kind of the programming, the way that you trained through that. Maybe Amy was a part of that as well. Amy Lyons, your coach. And then the community at King of Prussia CrossFit that kind of brings you guys together?
Yeah, that is a special community. And it's a community that means legitimately so much to me. They've brought me out of so many dark moments. And so the kitchen sink is very fun. Quite literally, Aimee has programmed for me for all of these years. We're now coming into our 5th go around together. And through all of this, Aimee has programmed every moment for me. And so we have a list of skills every week that she wants me to hit. And, there's just so much time in a day.
Yeah. And
so we call it the kitchen sink because, we throw everything in there. And so Aimee has like this staple pattern of a subset that I like to do. And we put couplets together of skills. And in between each couplet was historically rest. And there's no longer any rest. We put a skill in there or a movement, whatever it needs to be. And it is a death trap. Let me just tell you, some of them are great. Some of them you're like, that was awesome. I loved that workout. Then when it's 110 in the box and you're just like, hello, that was awful. I think I'm dying. But the fun part about them is the community, like you said. So I'm not doing it by myself. I have amazing friends that want to come and join me for these honestly stupid workouts. And yes, we had 19 of them, I think, leading up to the games. We've already started them for this calendar year because it became, I'm not even kidding you. We've already started the kitchen sinks. We do them on Fridays and it is so much fun because no one knows what they're doing. I write it because it's whatever skills I have left for the week. Mm-hmm. And then we come in and everyone just wants to be a part of that journey and they want to be part of my journey, which means so much to me. And it's just awesome. And so they're like, hey, if I can make a kitchen sink, and they're like, also, this is a mentally tough workout that if I can make it through this, I can make it through anything. But the community aspect, it speaks to the levels of Aimee as an affiliate owner. The community she's made is just so beautiful. And the fact that people want to be a part of my journey to say, hey, I want to train with you. I want to help you train. And I want to just be by your side to be that body that pushes you when you're questioning everything that you wrote on the board in this kitchen sink. And it really is just awesome. But we love those kitchen sinks and they're coming around. And maybe one day I will publish them when I retire and let everyone have at the kitchen sinks.
Make a cookbook.
I know.
Design it like a cookbook, it's beautiful. It would you'd want to leave it on your, on your bookshelf. It'd be like a statement book, but then people open it up and instead of a creme brulee, it's just hell.
It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one where everyone was cursing me out and I was cursing myself out in the middle of it. I was not nice. They got harder each week. I was not nice. And everyone still to this day is like, oh my gosh, Lauren, 16 was so bad. You thought 12 was bad, everyone. 16, I thought I was dying. And so it's also really fun because we all still talk about it today and they've already started. And I love that so much.
That's so cool. So I want to reflect on something with you about working out with other people. Because this past season was the first time, when we were doing the CrossFit semis, we got people at my box to come throw down with me and do them with me, right? And there is something about kind of having an invisible disability where when people, and let me know if you resonate with this, but when people in your community go, no, I want to throw down with you and support you, it's almost like they're seeing you.
Correct.
And you feel seen and you feel loved, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's also if you're not familiar, and people listening to this podcast should know, we all have dark humor in the disability world, and we absolutely do. And we kind of love that side of it. And so to the point of we come with disclaimers. You come with a disclaimer, I come with a disclaimer. My disclaimer is the fact that I might look like I'm having a seizure and throwing up on the side, but she's fine. She's good. Everyone knows when to step in. And I think that's so awesome. To your point, it's I'm seen and it's not over dramatized. That's her normal. She's good. Just let her go. And it honestly makes me so happy when people are just so used to it. And you're like, cool, like I can be me and like my body can react. And someone's not like, oh my God, you need me to call 911? I'm like, nah, just give me like 20 minutes and I'll be
Or
fine.
when someone's a little new to the community and they do react like that, someone else just goes, oh, no. This is totally normal.
It's so funny. I love that. So because Amy's on seminar staff, there's been times where I've had to do semifinal workouts in the middle of a seminar over the lunch break.
Okay.
And so there's staff, like people there getting their L1 or L2 that then come in and watch me do my workout. And it's always funny because we're like, they're eating lunch. So we sit and say, okay, if you are sensitive to vomit, I might recommend that you don't watch me while you eat your lunch. And it's just like, we joke and we always just say like Lauren Taylor comes with a disclaimer. Like and I love it.
So what is that? That's really interesting actually, that you do that at an L1 and L2. Does Amy, or in those lunch breaks, do you ever get a chance to educate those people on a little bit about what it's like to coach adaptive athletes? I know that's not part of the L1 or L2 curriculum.
Yeah. I will say like, it's definitely not, but people ask and I love when they ask and that's really cool. And then of course, because I've done my L1 and L2 also, then people ask in those questions as well. And I think Amy's also been presented those questions, as many people know, like she's my coach. They're like, hey, how can I work with an athlete like this? How can you help me do, like, what are some ideas you had? And I was Amy's first adaptive athlete. And so we learned together back in the day. And I loved that. And so like, we just found what worked and what didn't work. And we have a trapper keepers here of 5 strong and quite literally notebooks of all my workouts dating back to 2022. And it's just fun to look at the progression, but also to see like where we learned things along the journey.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the games in 24 or 25. Where I'm sensitive to that because we competed together at those. Yeah. What is a highlight or two that you have from the games in 25, this last year that we just did?
25 was great. I will say, like, for me, I love so much to just give all my love back to the volunteers and the presence that is there. Like for us as a community, and it means so much to me. I will say though, finishing my last workout, and winning that workout, mind you, and walking off the floor and just being able to hug Amy and just like say that we did it. Like we did it. That was my moment right there. And Amy is not a crier and we were both crying. And so it truly, I mean, she means the world to me, but that moment was so special to me that it was just, that was my favorite moment in 25.
Yeah. She must've been so proud of you too, because you had that pretty much locked up at that point and you still went out there and just smashed that workout. I mean, 106 reps on essentially just a buttload of burpees. Like nobody wants to do that.
No. And I just like kept going. I don't know about you, but I was like keeping my eyes like in multiple spots as like we were moving. And I was like, there was one time I actually looked up and I was like, uh-oh, don't do that again. And I was like, okay, head down, keep your head down, like keep moving. And at one point, like my shoe also came untied. And I was like, all right, if my shoe comes untied, I'm not looking at it. I'm just going to keep moving and keep my eye on this path. And the moment I finished and looked up, I went right back down because I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I might have to try that actually. I really struggled on that workout actually. That was my worst workout of the weekend. Burpees are really tough for me, just getting up and down off the ground. But I think it's because my head just kind of moves around too much. I like your idea of just stay focused on the ground.
You just got to stay locked in on like, when you're on the box, find that one spot. Like when you're on the snatch, find that one spot. Don't look up.
Yeah.
Because when you look up, you're seeing a lot of faces, colors, lights, things like that. When you're looking down, you're seeing a black mat.
Yeah. I like that. Any memories from 24?
Yeah, 24 was a great year for Lechen, and Lechen is such a good competitor, and I love her so much. And her and I go back and forth a lot. I would say like probably like one of my favorite not favorite moments of that was the hopper fell for Letchen that year. And my favorite moment was when I actually didn't win a workout that I needed to get the points that I needed to. Letch and I were only 10 points different.
Yeah.
And so I needed to win that one workout, and she beat me. And I just completely lost it. Started crying, was in the back. And in that moment, like, again, a special moment with Amy, like she was there. She's like, you're okay. You did this. You're doing it. Like, look how far you've come in all these years. And at that moment, I was mad at myself. I was disappointed, but I was like, all right, well, here's your motivation for next year. And so actually that medal that's behind me, those 2 second place one, the one from 2024 sat right on my desk. It's kind of like Jalen Hurts used to, the confetti and him walking off to be motivation. That second place medal sat on my desk. I wouldn't even put it up. It was my motivation to be like, you're going to do it this year.
Yeah. Two things that you said there that I love. One, the hopper fell for Letchen. I think that's that's gold right there for a mature way of thinking about this sport, in the sense that it is unknown and unknowable. And I would say this year, the hopper fell for me. Like, I got lucky in a lot of the programming, and I didn't shoot my shots when I needed to. So I ended up in second. You shot your shots when you needed to, and you killed it. I think the other thing is that that moment where you kind of lost what you were going for in 24, that you went with your coach, you cried, you felt the feels, and then you were like, okay, what are we doing to not let this define us, but really let it be motivation to go further. Yeah.
I wasn't done. At that point, I knew I wasn't done. So I said, let's go. We're going back next year, Amy. Come on, buckle up.
Can I interest you in the lightning round?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right. You have to create a kitchen sink right now on the fly. What are we doing?
All right. So we got 5 rounds of 10 chest to bar and 5 cows on the echo. Then you're going into, let's do 40 dubs, and let's go 5 rounds then of, we just did chest to bar. So let's go 10 pull-ups, and let's go 5 shoulder runs.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And then
getting ready for the open.
Now we'll do another 40 dubs. And then we're going to go into another 5 rounds of, let's do 10 toes to bar. And let's add in there, 5. What do I want that last one to be? Let's just go 5 heavy wall balls. 5 heavy wall balls.
All right. 30 and for the men, 20 dubs. For the ladies.
Yeah, let's go heavy. Let's just do it.
All right.
And then 40 dubs. And then you're done.
Okay, and then you're done. Okay, because I was going to say, if you threw in another 5 rounder, if that was like, girl, how big's that kitchen sink?
There's your insight to what a kitchen sink
is that a laundry sink? You should call that the laundry sink.
We actually literally made shirts. I will have to
amazing.
Send you a picture of the shirt. And we have legitimately logoed a kitchen sink shirt. And on the back, it says, rinse, repeat, regret. Which is how we feel.
What's your go-to snack when you are working out?
Scandinavian swimmers from Trader Joe's.
Are those Swedish fish, or are those different?
They're kind of like Swedish fish. They're just healthy without food dye in it.
Yeah.
They are like natural.
If we are working out together at the gym, what are we listening to?
We're either listening to country, Disney, or what everyone likes to refer to as my divorced dad playlist, because it's got like Nickelback and all these hard rock in it.
Josh Robinson coined that for me. I'd never heard that before. And then I was like, that is a fantastic way to describe that genre.
So great. Yeah.
All right. I do have one final lightning round question for you. Fill in the blank. Adaptation has taught me blank.
To be comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's good. All right. 2 final questions, not lightning round. You can take your time on them. If someone's listening to this podcast and they want to try out adaptive fitness or adaptive CrossFit, what would you tell them?
Do it. I mean, just talk to someone, talk to me, talk to you if you need to, but really do it. This community is amazing. We are all here for each other. We all want to lift each other up. And honestly, it's going to change your life. And I don't want to say like you're going to defy odds, because we all hear that, but it is just going to change your life.
Yeah, that's true. All right, last question. If you could go back and encourage a younger version of yourself, what would you tell her?
A really great question. Just never give up. I would say just truly like never give up. The speed bumps are going to happen. The road blockers are going to happen. And to find your people, to find your friends, to lean in on your family, and just never give up. Just keep going forward. That's all you have to do in life. And at the end of the day, really, if you can keep doing that and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, you're winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've proven that.
Yeah. It's been fun. If we, again, are the trailblazers for the next generation of someone to say, I can do this, I should do this, and which you should do this, then that's awesome. I'm happy.
Awesome. Well, Lauren, thanks so much for being on the podcast. I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, finally. And I'm happy to. It was a great time.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the podcast. Here's a couple of things that are sitting with me after this episode. First, that Lauren signed up for her first Open 2 days before the Open even began. I mean, Lauren tells it in the story. She spent years trying to figure out where her space was in fitness after her brain injury, after her surgery, what it meant to be an adaptive athlete, and what it meant to compete with a disability. And then she watched somebody else do it. She watched Amy Bream do it and decided that was enough. Maybe for you, you're not sure if adaptive fitness is right for you, or you're wondering if you want to keep doing this thing. Know that there's someone out there watching you compete, watching you work out, and realizing that there's a place for them to be able to do what you do. And the second thing that stood out to me was her mindset. At the 2024 games, when she said the hopper just fell for someone else, that wasn't an excuse for her performance. It was her realizing that in this sport where it's unknown and unknowable, sometimes an entire competition isn't going to necessarily break your way, or may actually break in someone else's wheelhouse. But she didn't give up. She kept working on her weaknesses through the kitchen sink workouts, and she came back stronger in 2025. That really stuck with me. So if this conversation landed for you, follow the show wherever you listen. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a review. It genuinely helps us reach more athletes. I'm Matt Hotho, and I'll see you next time.